Justin Marks stands inside the Trackhouse racing shop, staring at an empty stallboard where the number 88 sits without a name attached to its future. The smell of fresh paint lingers in the air over a car that has no driver sign to carry it forward. The shop hums with routine work, mechanics moving between cars, nobody aware that somewhere in North Carolina a decision has already been made. Marks doesn't know it yet. His phone hasn't rung. One driver in this building already knows exactly where he'll be in 2028. The other three don't. What happens to a race team when the future it built its identity around chooses someone else? The headline drops like breaking news mid-scene. On August 17, 2026, Hendrick Motorsports signed Connor ZILISCH to a multi-year deal, starting in 2028, putting him behind the wheel of the iconic number 48 Ally Chevrolet, replacing Alex Bowman. Rick Hendrick confirmed the move directly. Hendrick said, "When someone with that kind of ability and character becomes available, you do everything you can to bring them into your organization." That quote confirms what nobody in the garage wanted to say out loud. ZILISCH was a target long before anyone admitted it, and Hendrick Motorsports moved the moment the opportunity appeared. Before this story goes further, if you're new here at NASCAR Insider TV, we're closing in on 1,500 subscribers, and hitting that number helps this channel keep bringing you breakdowns like this one. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and leave a comment with your take on this shakeup. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Now back to the story, because this isn't a simple driver swap. This is a wound for Trackhouse Racing. ZILISCH didn't just get a promotion. Trackhouse lost the driver it had quietly built its next decade around, and that loss changes the shape of the entire organization. His rise explains why this stings so much. ZILISCH won in the Xfinity Series at Watkins Glen in 2024, then delivered an explosive 2025 season with 10 wins, 8 poles, and a runner-up finish in the championship standings. His 2026 Rookie Cup season told a very different story. Just one top 10 finish at Sonoma, and a position deep in the point standings for most of the year. Hendrick Motorsports bet on potential, not on this year's stat sheet, and that decision carries real weight precisely because the numbers right now don't justify it on paper alone. ZILISCH spoke about the move in personal terms. He said, "This is one of those moments you dream about as a kid." Then came the quote that deepens the wound for Trackhouse even further. ZILISCH said, "Justin Marks took a chance on me when I was 16. The kid leaving is grateful to the team he's leaving behind." It wasn't a bitter exit. It was a bittersweet one, and that makes it harder for Trackhouse to process, not easier, because there is no villain in this version of the story. Marks issued his own statement, and it deserves a slow, careful read. He said, "It's a bittersweet moment for Trackhouse. Our mandate remains to work hard, accomplish big things with Connor while we have him, and position this 88 Chevy team to move into the 2028 NASCAR Cup season ready for a new, inspiring, and talented driver." Read that statement again. He never said a name. Justin Marks just told the entire garage that somebody is about to inherit the most important seat in his organization, and he refuses to say who. It could be an outside signing brought in from another series. It could be a prospect nobody has heard of yet. Or it could be someone already inside the building, working under everyone's nose. That question is exactly why Shane Van Gizburgen suddenly matters. He arrived at Trackhouse as a road course specialist, a name fans expected to shine only on twisty circuits and nowhere else. He shocked the sport with a win at Chicago in his debut season. Since then, his numbers have expanded far beyond that first headline moment. Van Gizburgen recorded 5 wins in 2025 and earned Rookie of the Year honors for his performance. The detail that changes this entire narrative is his improvement on ovals, a discipline nobody expected him to master this quickly. He already has 2 oval wins in 2026, before the stretch run of the season has even finished. This directly answers the unnamed question sitting inside Marks's statement. Trackhouse may not need a new prospect at all. They might already have one inside their own building, except this one is 37 years old, not 17. Van Gisbergen doesn't fit the mold of the next great teenage hope that Trackhouse built with ZILISCH. He's not a kid learning the ropes on the job. He's a proven supercars champion who arrived at Trackhouse already fully formed as a race winner. Trackhouse didn't lose a prospect and gain nothing in return. They lost a driver they signed at 16, and they may already be sitting on a proven winner nobody has officially crowned. Across the fanbase, certain days of the week have become unofficially known for "what's wrong with Trackhouse" conversations, a sign of how much scrutiny this organization lives under every single week. One stat keeps resurfacing in these discussions and stopping people mid-scroll every time it appears again. Van Gisbergen is currently the second most winning driver in the Cup Series since the start of 2025, a number that catches people off guard every time it's repeated, because Trackhouse still isn't widely viewed as a flagship operation. There's genuine disagreement over the team's driver hierarchy right now. Some argue Ross Chastain has finished better more consistently this season and deserves recognition as the #1 driver at Trackhouse. Others point out that Van Gisbergen has simply outwon him across the same stretch, making it closer to a 1A and 1B situation than a clear top spot. One recurring joke across the community is that the face of Trackhouse is whichever driver isn't racing at a road course that week, a jab that lands because it isn't entirely inaccurate. This is where the story escalates from a single departure into a full organizational crisis. Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen are both entering the final year of their current contracts in 2027. ZILISCH's exit didn't create one empty seat for 2028. It potentially created 3. And no organization in the Cup Series garage is currently facing that level of contract exposure at the same time. If Trackhouse moves quickly to lock down Van Gisbergen with a long-term deal, that sends a clear signal to Chastain about his own standing inside the organization. If the team prioritizes Chastain's Cup experience instead, Van Gisbergen may start listening to offers from rival organizations circling him already. Other teams are already watching both drivers closely as their contracts approach expiration. Van Gisbergen for his international profile and road course dominance, Chastain for his experience and established market value inside the sport. There's a commercial layer to this story as well, one that goes beyond wins and points on a leaderboard. ZILISCH's move to Hendrick Motorsports represents Ally recommitting to a partnership with the number 48 that spans nearly a decade of sponsorship history in the Cup Series. Modern driver value in NASCAR extends beyond lap times into brand equity and global sponsorship reach. Van Gisbergen's international following, built through years of supercars competition in Australia, raises a real question about whether his commercial upside is larger than currently recognized inside the sport, and whether that makes him even more difficult for Trackhouse to lose down the line. None of these threads have been resolved, and none of them will be resolved soon, no matter how loudly the fanbase debates them online. Does Van Gisbergen become the new face of Trackhouse racing heading into 2028? Does Chastain get prioritized instead, based on his years of Cup Series experience? Does Justin Marks go find a completely new young prospect, betting on another version of ZILISCH somewhere else in the sport? Is there already a private plan inside the organization that nobody outside it has seen yet? Connor ZILISCH already knows exactly where he'll be in 2028. Trackhouse doesn't. And somewhere inside that shop, one driver is about to find out whether he's the answer to a question Justin Marks still refuses to say out loud. If this breakdown gave you the full picture, drop a comment below with who you think takes that seat next, and share this video with a fellow NASCAR fan who needs to see it today. If you enjoy real NASCAR breakdowns like this, you'll like what's coming next.